Hey there, this is for one of my followers who asked for a more detailed how to draw hands tutorial. So here we go. First thing I'm doing here is just sketching out the main parts of the hand, the lower hand, upper hand, in this case, the palm from the front, the thumb, and the fingers. Notice that the joints of the fingers line up in a form of an arc. I'm also going to be doing the back and both sides of the hand. Now the lower hand, both from the front and the side, can be represented by a sort of trapezoid. And then you've got the thumb, which starts with this big meaty section and the two joints. Technically, the thumb actually has 3 sections and 2 joints, just like every other finger. It's just that the lowest section is actually kind of part of the palm and that big meaty part, but it is 3 sections. I'm representing the upper hand in red here, and though it's quite small, it's very important because that's where the knuckles sit, so that is where the articulation of the fingers begin. Like I've said before, when drawing the fingers from the front or back, you should start with the middle finger first so that you can place the other fingers correctly. And then from the side, you want to start with whichever finger's in front that's covering the other fingers and just pay attention to the length of each finger. Now, when drawing from the back and you're just sketching the structure of the hand, it's actually identical to the front because the internal workings are the same. It's just mirrored. And same idea from the side. The only thing to pay attention to is which side the thumb is on. So here, the thumb is on the side closest to us. So the meaty part of the thumb would be on the front side of the hand, facing us. Now the parts and proportions of the hand are, of course, all still there. The lower upper part of the hand forms the main section, and the longest finger, usually the middle finger, would be about as long as the rest of the hand. From the back now, you'll see that in the upper hand section is where the knuckles sit. That's where fingers begin their articulation. Be careful not to draw the knuckles on the first section of the fingers. They do sit on the hand itself. And also notice the back of the hand, the lower hand, is covering some of the ball of the thumb because the ball of the thumb and the joints are mainly sitting on the underside of the hand. When sketching fingers, I just put a ball where each joint is, and then when I do the lining or inking, I'll draw a little bump for each joint. And with fingernails, they're basically just little trapezoids, and they go at the tips. Do just be careful with fingernails that if the finger is in any kind of perspective, they should curve around the cylindrical form of each finger. As a very fine detail note, do pay attention that fingers tend to be relatively flat on top, and then the undersides are rather meaty. And especially as they curl, the meaty part will bunch up and look even more meaty. And in more realistic styles, you would put some wrinkles over each of the joints under the fingers where they bend and under and around the thumb. Now, I normally don't do veins on hands, but if you want to, the veins on the back of the hand generally form an X centered around where the wrist meets the hand. And then the veins will further flow sort of into each of the fingers. So at a medium detail level, those are sort of the main parts of a hand. Let's put it into practice here. I'm going off reference and I'm going to try and draw